Hello everyone, this is my part 2 of my update video on April 9th. Alright, so here we go. So what you have in front of you is what the NAM thinks that the height winds will be during the storm, which this is pretty much early morning Friday, and this is in knots. Alright, so I'm not a converter, all I know is that 10 knots equals like more than 15 miles per hour, so knots are a little lower. All right, so not, terrible winds, maybe a little bit heavier up in New Hampshire. We're up there, it's showing 16 to 20 knots, nothing too crazy. Pretty windy. Into Massachusetts, pretty much generally a good 12 to 16 knots. More as you get to the coast, more like 16 to 20. And as you get pretty much just past Buzzards Bay onto the Cape, looks like they could be dealing with 20 to 25 knots, which I'm not sure exactly what the categorization for a gale is out there or what it is in general, really. But those are some pretty decent winds. Looks like perhaps the Outer Cape and really coastal areas in the islands we'll be getting into some 25 to 30 knot winds early Friday morning. This is what the NAM has pretty much for a general picture for the whole state, the strongest winds. Alright, so that's why I showed that to you. Let's move on to what the GFS has for winds. So the GFS thinks that the strongest winds will come a little bit later than what the NAM thinks, kind of more like kind of the rush hour, a little bit before that, maybe on Friday, and it kind of shows a general 12 to 16 knots for most of the state, kind of a little bit less out in the western part of the state. Yeah, kind of holds the heaviest winds just offshore. Maybe some of those could get a little more. Also, these winds head in east, so blowing some warm air in. No chance for snow, really. It's not going to be some terribly cold northwest wind that's going to be just ripping through your clothes on Friday morning. It'll be raining and stuff, so bring your rain gear. But yeah, looks like it'd be a little bit more windy on the outer Cape, maybe at most 25, maybe a little over 30. Yeah. These are sustained, I believe, if I have this right. So probably gusting to more than that. So, expect some decent winds. It's not going to be like some crazy windstorm, but they're going to be pretty good. Alright, and as we move on to the Euro thinks that it'll occur pretty much the same time periods the GFS thinks it'll occur. 12 to 16 knots for most of the state. A little bit windier just off the shore, like that. Yeah, 12 to 16 for most people. Actually, a little bit less right along the shore, then kind of getting windy again. Huh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, and then maybe windier along the Cape there, 20 to 25. Nothing too crazy, nothing that we can't handle here in Massachusetts, right? Alright, let's move on to my next slide, which is the wind streams, which is pretty much kind of like you can kind of see in here, the winds are kind of getting wrapped into the area of low pressure out there. Alright, so you can kind of see like where the general flow and like where they're coming from and where they're heading and like the speed. Alright, so this is the NAM, kind of shows some more heavier winds out here. Pretty much the same as before. This kind of gives you more of a directional sense. So they'll be kind of heading from the east, perhaps a little bit north. Not too bad. Yeah, so that's what the kind of NAM has. And you can kind of see, so there's the back area of low pressure up there. It's kind of cool to see. Then you can see these winds really wrapping in really tight into that area of low pressure right into there, right in there. All right, you can't really see that. I'll switch my color. right into here that low pressure will be. So you can kind of really see them wrapping in there. It's pretty cool to look at sometimes. Alright, and let's move on to the, what is this? Conditional freezing rain, alright? So there is a potential for icing with the storm. I don't really think, I mean, as we move forward here, it looks like the models really aren't showing that there could be as much icing. I mean, it's not going to be like an ice storm. It's not like you're going to have power for weeks, but there is the greatest potential will be right into these regions right here where this map is shaded, right here. Pretty much covering the central and a little bit of eastern part of the state. I don't really think that this will account to much, maybe a little bit of mixing in right along the border. But yeah, nothing too substantial. But don't be surprised if you get some snowflakes or some ice pellets or freezing rain mixed into there. That can make the roads a little slick in places, especially on overpasses, and make your tires a little slick when you first start your car up that Friday morning and when you start up Saturday morning. Alright, that is all I have for you guys today. Um, I really don't know when I'm going to put out my next video. Perhaps I'll make a video on the temperatures that we'll be heading into. Quite exciting, I believe. But things have been kind of all over the place, alright? So it's going to be a tough call. Alright, but for now, have a great evening, everyone.